everybody here waiting for you and stuff. But it's the listening party, man. Serious for daddy, man. Like, come, bro. I beg you, just wait. How far are you? I'm coming downstairs now. Come on. Split.
Yo, what's going on with you? Huh? Have everybody here waiting for you and that, man? You feel me? Episode 9, series finale. It's been a long one, this one, innit? Mad journey, mad vulnerable and that, basically, innit, man? I don't know, man. This season was yearning and learning, and I decided to proper focus on all of that stuff. Let's walk a little bit. Within the first episode, I was working on the music, which was, you know, Sexy Mood. The third episode, I told you my inspiration behind this tape. All the people you're about to see, some of my loved ones, my friends, family, get me, people that I hold dear. Obviously, I'm doing all the yapping just because I know once we get in there, they ain't gonna leave you alone, basically. We're not gonna have our moment, man. But thank you for being there. You get me, man. Thank you for just accepting my heart, man. Hopefully you enjoy the music. You feel me? Hopefully it done something for you as much as it done for me. You know what I mean? And that's literally what my intention was within all of this. I could be talking, but I think it's best we just listen to this music, man, and let it speak for itself, man. So come, man, let's go. What are you saying, man? Listening party, you ready? Yeah. I see Big C. I got the chair and everything, bro. It's a SoundCloud and Drew. Huh?
It's been a long time coming, really. A lot of hard work in this very room and another studio down in North London. How we're gonna go through it is we're gonna go through the tape, song by song, as intended to be heard. At the end of each track, if you just input the answers to the questions on the form, giving your feedback, be honest, it's all anonymous, you know what I mean? There's gonna be no repercussions, it's all good. The more constructive the criticism is, the better. This is just the beginning. Believe that whatever we leave here today is just a foundation. We're going to the top of the mountain, as we say, innit? What we saying, we ready?
We're ready. I mean, Paul, you sure you don't want a chair and take me? You was in episode 1 as well, bro, like doing up your thing and whatnot, bro.
I was. Oh, so you want me to get a chair then, basically?
Do you want a chair, bro?
Oh, I would love a chair.
Obviously, with this project, like, and this series as a whole, obviously it's yearning and learning, basically, innit? Which, you know, everything comes from a real place in recent events, really and truly, in relation to this, as to what prompted me to make this kind of tape. 4 tracks, 4 women, 4 chambers of the heart. You feel me? And this is obviously what it's been basically representative of. You feel what I'm trying to say?
Intro in, Tales of the Broken Hearted.
That was 2016. Clock takes work, so I did it. Those dreams. My passion was a rock, it could resurrect fiends. Trap should have been working. So this hotel trip's all on the M6 with a tick coming for the exertions. 20 now, so 2017 is when we hit crisis. And I fucked up when I fucked that chick. Yeah, I know I
did. This song. Alright, so it's weird, right? So of course, there was like 4 names I dropped basically in it, yeah? And obviously 4 women, right? And it's literally in chronological order, innit? Where the first name was the first girlfriend I had many moons ago, basically, right? This song was initially inspired by her in terms of obviously how I was and certain things within it, where everything that I said was true. Everything happened, basically. But in recent years, I was in mess, so it's not really just dated to a time when I was like 21. It's even recently where I can feel the same way. So yeah, the story behind that was literally that, just being confused, being in my early 20s at the time, you know, having love for somebody, the initial first kind of instance, but thinking like, oh, I'm too young to settle down type of vibe, basically, innit, yeah? And just really speaking to that, obviously wanting somebody to obviously, you know, let me do my thing, and by the end of it, I'll be back, which is, again, it's toxic, and but that was the truth of what it was, basically, without guidance whilst being young, and the kind of consequences of not, and it's not absolving myself of any responsibility, but not having like strong male leads consistently to kind of steer you in the right direction, where you kind of figure out this kind of love thing by yourself, basically.
In terms of the vocals though, obviously I've seen you in the studio having singing lessons.
Oh yeah. Okay. That was episode 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you execute this before or after the singing lessons?
I think this was before I done the singing lessons.
So you had no vocal training when you were delivering.
This was this before or after? You know what it was is with this one, my goal wasn't to sound perfect. It wasn't to sound I'm in love with you. I wasn't trying to do it because I want you to hear that. I want like, if you're outside the door basically and she's not letting you in basically, you're not singing perfectly. You're singing while it's raining thunder. You're trying to strain yourself but you're trying to sound good at the same time. But are we ready for the second one though? Yeah. This is Sexy Mood. This is the one that Anna was in the studio for as well, isn't it?
This thing I've got to tell you. You see when I met her? She came with a friend, stepped with a sexy mood. She only dates well with waves, I ain't a regular type. Sex on legs and wheels, she ain't a regular vibe. And I told her, Reese's Pieces told her wrong. But Ro, I don't usually do this. First met the baby, is prudish, now she basically a nudist.
Details of the Broken Hearted, where does this song fit in within the broken hearted aspect of things? Like,
obviously in any kind of situation when you're broken hearted, there's a moment where obviously you got to step outside and breathe a little bit and you understand, start feeling yourself a little bit, see what's out there, you know, things which are prosperous.
I don't agree with that one.
This one is the more kind of universal song out of the lot because obviously, especially if you're like into R&B and all of that stuff, and obviously it's talking about, you know, women with aspirations, doing their thing, gym, etc, etc. So this just kind of fits into a moment of when you're going through that season of brokenness, of you just being outside, seeing what's up and having a good time and vibing basically, and that's where I've sorted it in within that basically. But of course within the next song afterwards, you know, after the party's done, you return home to them 4 walls, innit? You feel me? But
alcohol wearing off. Am I gonna send that message tonight or not? I
hear you. And it's obviously, for me, this is the only song past this period that I'm taking with me beyond this period as well, basically, where you get me, it's just a good time, really and truly, innit, man? In fact, I actually done something on TikTok last year, and I basically asked people to choose a beat. There was like 4 selections, A, B, C, D. This is the beat that they chose, innit? So that's why I done it, basically, innit? And that's how it kind of came about. So it's really the people's song beyond mine. In terms of the inspiration, obviously some of the women in which is mentioned, the last 2 people, it was kind of influenced by them based on what they got going on. And this was when things were a bit more positive, should I say, where I was able to, you know, think in a good way to obviously do that and, you know, make that type of music and song really and truly, innit? But again, I think many people can, it can be applicable to many people basically, you feel me? But I guess we're back into that mode, we've returned home, you feel me, it's the 4 walls. And of course, man, you get me, Miss Calls plays, man.
Miss calls in your phone. Right now you're busy. Go back when you're home. We done this before. You say as I say, you passed over my thoughts, throwing away all of the things we had. I felt I had to. Ain't nothing close to my baby. Ain't nothing close to my baby. There's nothing close to my baby. There's nothing close to my baby.
Put it out there now, obviously that's my favourite one. In terms of just the surprise in it. I always think of him highly and what he could achieve in this music thing, but on a singing perspective, this song for a foundation level made me think, alright, cool. Man could go in levels into that as well. And then the story with it, yeah, for me, Tales of the Broken Hearted, I think this encompasses it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think when I made this one initially was made in line with that first girlfriend, because it was like in that kind of era, but I only actually made the first bit. I didn't actually finish the song, so I had to go for another madness basically in order to then create the second bit. But that's what obviously inspired and enthused that. In terms of when I made it, I think I was just in a creative space of just shooting my shot and just seeing what was up, and heard the beat, found a pocket basically, And it was just real. I can't actually really say too much. It was just real, innit? It was real life, innit? This is what was going on. Like, calling, you get me? Like, obviously, my whole thing's from a man's perspective, and I know, like, a lot of us, it's our own doing, innit? You understand? But it doesn't mean that it don't hurt the same way, because it's like, you know what you're doing, but it wasn't your intention to cause harm. And that's literally how that kind of song was, basically, where it's like, listen, just give me a chance, hear me out type of vibe, basically. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I made it where I was like, I'm gonna make it and put it out. Sometimes I just make music because I just need to, innit? I need to put this out in a way that I can kind of cope with whatever the thing is, basically. And then I can just put it away and just continue, basically. And I'm happy with the execution based on the fact that it's a start, basically. And it at least seeds something in people's heads where I have an excuse to go forth there afterwards and do things properly as well. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's what I want to say. Nisi, you look like you got a question for me. Go on.
Yeah, I do actually. Do you feel like by singing, it brought your emotions, or it helps you to put your emotions across in a better way than if you would
in terms of rap it, basically? Yeah. I think for me, I think it's equal. I think I could do both, because I think with singing, you can feel the emotion via the voice and what I'm saying. It can hold, and I don't have to say as much. With the rapping, I have to say more. But then, obviously, I'm a little bit of a yapper anyway, innit? For me, like, rapping, I feel like I'm able to say everything, basically. Like, there's no stone unturned, whereas singing, I'm able to tell you how I feel. With rapping, I'm able to tell you how I think, basically, innit? So I think that's the difference between the two, and I think I really appreciate being able to say how I feel and sing how I feel in the singing, so you know this is real, innit? Like, you brought a rapper coming forth and singing, innit? Like, ain't no joke. You understand what I'm trying to say? But with the rapping, it's like, that's like therapy, innit? Like, I'm literally just talking and just getting it off, but I'm saying everything as well. And I feel complete via doing that. Similarly.
Do you enjoy singing over the rapping, and will you make more singing tunes?
Oh, you know, I think I'm more skilled at rapping at this point, basically. So I can do so many different flows, tricks, flips, all of that stuff. So I enjoy rapping because I'm more flexible at this point. But I think when I'm more expansive in terms of what I'm able to do with singing, I probably enjoy it to a similar type of wave, because I'm limited with singing. There's certain pockets I can hit and certain ones where it's like, oof. But the type of ambition that I have, like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this to where I'm trying to hit notes like Mariah Carey type of vibe. You understand? And even if I never do that, the pursuit.
All the people you're gonna name is like, man didn't even go with a brother like no Stevie Wonder, you know what I mean? No Luther Vandross.
So the point I'm making is, even if I never reach that, that's my pursuit. So my pursuit is to be better each time. So whatever I then make in between that, it's still of a great level and great quality, basically, innit?
Well, I wanted to also ask a couple questions and interject as well. So, basis on the song, because you said that it wasn't something that you're originally going to put out. So, what really motivated you to put it out? Is it the raw emotion of the contents of the song, how you're feeling towards a particular woman? Or is it the fact of you wanted to push yourself, challenge yourself, and be like, I actually want to execute this singing thing, see what people feel?
Well, I wanted there to be an element of surprise, innit? Like, oh right, he does this as well. You feel me? Where it's like, I actually want people to take me in seriously, because it's not, obviously the quality has to be decent, but just the attempt and the will to do it basically says a lot about where I'm trying to go and who I am as an artist, basically. And then two, like, obviously the whole tape, like, is inspired by the energy of the last person I said goodbye to, basically. And that song speaks to obviously some of the ending times between me and that individual, basically, as to why it needed to come out. And it was in the chamber, it was real. Rather than making something new, let me just actually commit to something which exists, put it out there, basically, and it speak to what the truth is really in tune.
Right.
Feel me? So that's Missed Calls, a deep cut within it. And obviously we get to Heart Speaks now, basically.
Love is blind. I heard a fantasy, a folk tale of fables describing how love is kind. Callous of how callous how love can be. And if no one else can listen, at least I hope that if she really hope that she is. Crying friends and science trying to hide them. You can ask if you can find them. If I'm lying, then I'm but it's not, I'm left. Yeah.
Obviously, not to trigger any emotions or anything, but if you was to put yourself in the circumstances of one of these 4 ladies hearing this for the first time, would you feel slighted? Would you feel any negative vibe whatsoever, or would you kind of, what would be your thing?
I think it depends if I've moved on or not.
Yeah.
If I've like moved on and like made it, I probably would laugh at it, or like not even laugh, but like like brush it off. I wouldn't really. But if I'm like still like on like not over it, then it would have affected. Yeah, it would have affected. Yeah.
I mean, in my head, I'd be like, he's still thinking about me. Yeah. Really, truly.
Damn, my name.
Obviously, for me within the season, I've had to brush aside pride and ego to the max. I couldn't allow myself to take any of that on, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to produce all the stuff I did, basically. Do you understand? I had to be exposed and be vulnerable. All I know, like, they could be getting whisked away all around the world, having the time of their life. Bro, who? What? So for me, I just looked at it where humbly it's about my own journey and my own kind of redemption as a man, basically, where from being broken, from going out there, from the missed calls, it's like I can acknowledge what this is, I can acknowledge how I feel now. But even though I can acknowledge where there can be 2 truths, receiving a message, I'm gleeful, I'm happy, it's like, okay, we're back on. At the same time, where I can't bank on that as a fact, praying for resolve, hoping to put this to bed. You feel me, as I say in the lyrics? So it's 2 in the same, and it's to whatever comes first out of the 2, basically, for what I'll be happy with, you know what I mean? So I think that's just really what that track is for me. This is my personal favourite out of the tape, personally, because it's a deep cut, you get me? I say everything that it is, and it's one in where it's like a relief. But I don't know, it's the one which is the most real to my life, because I actually made this one a few years ago, but it's a timeless song for me, basically, because I think in any madness and anybody where they've held a level of accountability to the actions involved, all the while wanting but then it being difficult between somebody, you can play this at any time. God forbid I'm in a madness again, I don't have to make any more songs. I can just listen to that song in particular, and obviously the tape as a whole, to obviously bring about those particular emotions, innit? This was obviously it was a personal tape. That was a personal song. I remember when I made that, and that's a technical song, there's a lot of flows, a lot of this, that and a third, but it was so easy to make because it's how I felt. When the pace speeds up from what I'm talking about, it's me just like, no denying I was fighting friends, and then like all of that, it's real, innit, for what it is and how I'm feeling. The heart speaks, replaying memories in me that can't leave, like it's real shit, you feel what I'm trying to say? So yeah, this is my personal favourite and the one which means the most, because it's almost like it's where I can leave it where it is now. You understand what I'm trying to say?
What do you think is now, of course, granted that, of course, God willing, you're able to move on with another brilliant woman.
Right.
What do you expect, of course, her knowing your artistry and comes across this tape? What are your thoughts towards when she hears this, or anything surrounding this situation with the 4 women in this project? What do you think their
Do you know what I'll say? Like,
take on this is gonna be?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, of course, there's nothing I can hide in it, and I only say that where it's not just the music. The music speaks for itself based on how I've expressed myself, but literally the content as well says in detail what happened and what I done. You get me? So I can't evade that truth, basically. To be honest with you, like, I'll be real. Like, obviously in this time, like, you know, I put out episodes, I've done the whole heartbroken thing online. Women have still come forth. I think it's just I think they'll just accept, like, you got a deep, we're just in season 2 now, isn't it? Season 3 is, obviously we already know what we're doing for season 3. That's going to be amazing. It's back to winning ways and formulating ourselves going up. Season 4, we're out in Grenada, you feel me? With obviously Nisi over there and thing, you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's like, there's a lot where beyond this moment, I think hopefully anybody can just respect the vulnerability, my honesty. And at the end of the day, if I'm going on big YouTube, if I'm making music, I'll be an arse to go and repeat the same mistakes. I'll be an arse to like do the whole thing, pray and say obviously, you know what, you know, make me a better man to go and do a mad thing. So I just hope that anybody seeing it's like, yo, this is somebody that has the will to change, and I've met them at their most complete state compared to where they've been in the past, and I'm really willing and happy to then go forth in that next step of the journey for wherever they go to next. You feel me? So that's really what I hope for, that really and truly.
After this EP, are you gonna still talk about a heartbreak and these specific people, or are you moving on, like moving on to the next? You know?
In terms of these specific people, I'm never name dropping them or highlighting them in some type of way again. This was very true and personal to them. would I use a moment to then be inspired to make a song? So for example, if I went, you know, let's say I went Brighton with one of them and I wanted to make something in my mind about like the beach and the pier or something, I might reflect to that moment just to make that song, but it's not really about them basically, it was just an inspiration. In terms of R&B and heartbreak stuff, I think I would always make it basically, but it wouldn't be a dedicated tape for a very long time unless I was at a level where I could drop different genres of different tapes and they cater to different audiences because the audience is that big, or I was going through something again, God forbid. But it's a situation where I think more so I'd like to create bodies of work which had a variety of different sounds so different people can enjoy it for different things. Like this tape, I'm not expecting any high replay value, sorry, bar just the Sexy Mood one, because you're not trying to be in a state of hearing about the mad thing again and again and again. Overall, we want to be happy, you understand? And we only listen to certain stuff when we're going through certain stuff. And it's there for that. But then beyond that, like, cool, let's uplift you, let's do all this other stuff, Chosen One, all of these different type of like feel-good stuff in which I have in mind and what I want to kind of get out there instead. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, and just for my own sake, like, I've got to move on, like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Like I was saying, like, obviously I've done the episode 3, there's no nothing now, like, nothing's gone in, like, best I just keep it pushing and just move on with my life, all the stuff I want to go forth and do, to be honest with you. And like, this has been so difficult. I sacrificed myself for the sake of obviously my future self reflecting to this part and appreciating it, bringing out some art and also letting people into who I am and my story and what I'm about. You feel what I'm saying? Where this season was a very quiet one compared to the first season. First season, you know, it was a rap freestyle challenge. I came out with the freestyle. I've done the DJ AG thing basically. We're doing the gym challenges. It's all of those type of, yeah, we're out here, rising and getting it done. This is what we got, set and pace basically. Whereas this was more, and then the hard drive crashing, that was kind of like Ro versus the elements basically around him as he's trying to go forth and ascend to getting back into being Ro from being the Amazon delivery driver that he started as in episode 1. Whereas this one is about, it's internal, isn't it? It's Ro versus Dan. Do you get what I'm saying? And that kind of battle, really and truly, because all the women I've mentioned know me as Dan, they don't know me as Ro. You get what I'm trying to say? That's my surname, Monroe, innit? That's how I get the artist name and stuff. But they're thinking Dan basically, where that was the kind of conflict that had to be explored in order to provide the vulnerability that I did within this season. Whereas obviously next season, it's both of them conjoined now as a whole one person going forward in the elevation that I want to go forth and do. And that's what season 3 will be about basically. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's it. Like, there's no choice but to move on, and at the end of the day, for all the different women, I wish them the best and everything they've got going on. There's no slight, anything that's said is of the truth, but I actually do wish them the best. Like, any person that was with me was fantastic, you know, within what they got going on. It's not a bad word that I can say about anybody in the relationships that I had with them, with me, basically. And I just hope that everybody's able to heal, really and truly. I hope it doesn't trigger anybody to any kind of spiral or anything of the sorts. Everybody's used their own methods, and other people have used methods against me. This one is just for me, basically, even if nobody listens to it. As long as the people who are invested are interested and they like it, and they can hear me and they feel me, and they're willing to continue to walk with me on my journey as I go forth in all the different phases, then that's all I can really ask for, really and truly, innit? As we close though, let me just give a few acknowledgements. So obviously, first off, thank you to obviously Mills, Nix and the team over here. Long nights, long sessions, really putting in that work. Obviously the vulnerability, being able to be comfortable here to get the music out for what it is, and just obviously learning together, you get me, it was great. And obviously just around the corner from where I am, so just to be able to be in that space, obviously thank you guys for your patience, even today as well, for how you're accommodating. You get me, it means a ton, and you know, it's been a pleasure.
First of many, man, that's it.
You know, to Anna, like, for what's been done in terms of the content, you feel me, and obviously the strategy and everything. Me running it up on the TikTok and like starting to like apply pressure and all of that is obviously all because of Anna. And even with that run that we done with Up Now, where that video independently on YouTube is almost on 1,000 views and that basically, innit? That's all from the strategy and the planning for what's been gone forth. So again, big shout out to you. And even the cover art, the photos, you understand? Dope. So another round of applause. Obviously this is the season ender. You get me, and it started with episode 1 here in this studio, creating Sexy Mood, innit?
You feel me? And that was where you saw the man, them you saw Curtis and you saw Paul. You feel me, man? So obviously big shout out for them in terms of, you know, their help and their aid basically in all the different ways. That clap needs to be louder, bro. Just put your hands out your pocket. You feel me, man? And even putting this together within obviously the team, you know, that's obviously existing and everything and all the effort. Again, a big shout out to Anna and Curtis and just obviously putting that forth and all the help.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
And obviously more so than myself in terms of making this tape, the hours and all of that. Obviously an individual big special shout out to Curtis as well. This is his project as well as mine. I literally just got on the mic and made the lyrics. There's times where I'm here doing other stuff, he's there making sure it's cleaned up with Mills, listening over to it, like being there before I'm there in the studio. You feel what I'm saying?
What?
But the emotions for the tape, man. What's going on? As you can see, a lot of emotions on the line. He's been in the studio from the writing process to the delivery. It ain't easy. The pressure applied for myself, Paul, Anna, demands, setting the standards. You know, imagine this, deliver this, taking man back to dark places. A big credit, a big shout out to the man himself who did it. Without him, there's no tape.
Huh? Everybody up for this one.
Who said that? Huh? Someone said the wrong part.
Huh?
Never know the code.
What? Teach them now? Look.
She came with a friend, stepped with a sexy mood. Brown and lighty darts and came with a sexy crew. Bust on hair, nails, pants, she stepped with a sexy shoes. Show me how sexy feels. She calling me sexy too. My guy was the dress that she was wearing. I can't even. The dress?
Alright, brother, why didn't you tell me you had 10?
I think it was PLT. She came in a GLC. I met her at DLT. She got urges, she wanna repress. Same thing, Nisha had night toes lost when I met her at recess. Smart and bougie, don't confuse me, I ain't a regular guy. She only dates man with waves, I ain't a regular type. Sex on legs and wheels, she ain't a regular vibe. Her last flavor weren't niche, see me, I treble the price. She got a roll, pulls a roll, in the gym, in the zone.
If the vocals can be as strong as possible within the session that we had, but the emotion is felt, that's just my main objective.
First met the baby, it's prudish, now she basically a nudist. I wonder how she got a crown, private gem, but known about. Uni grad, she's working now, her next step, she's working out.
Episode 6.
Killer from 187, an R&B chick, posted by Slow Jams at 8. How me go clenching my fist. It's a big body move and make a man go wow. That's why to catch her like Dankin' Sounds. She came with a friend, stepped with a sexy mood. Brown and lighty dark skin came with a sexy crew. Bust down hair, nails, pairs, she stepped with a sexy shoes. Show me how sexy feels. She calling me sexy too. She came with a friend, stepped with a sexy mood. Brown and lighty dark skin came with a sexy crew. Bust down hair, nails, pairs, she stepped with a sexy shoes. Show me how sexy feels. She calling me sexy too.
I see you in April, man. Season 3, we get it lit, man. Back to winning ways, man. Get me? That was me. That was my heart. That was season 2. Souls of the broken hearted. Yearning and learning, man. Over and out, man. Get me? Road to recovery, man.